Okay, let's look at the tariff deadline then. That is fast approaching. Let's look at our fundamentals. They're pretty good. If you're Donald Trump, you're looking at Australia, you go, yeah, they're a pretty good ally. They've been with us for the last 100 years at every war we've gone into. When it comes to a trade deficit, well, we do have a deficit with them. They run a surplus with us. We have all the critical minerals they need for their AI boom here, the defence industries. And a comparable nation like UK has done a deal with them. They got some exemption on, I think, steel and aluminium. So at the end of the day, if we have status quo of 10% on all goods and some relief on steel and aluminium, would you chalk that up as a win?
Well, look, we have a more compelling case than what we did when we were in government in getting carve-outs. We just dropped a cheque for $800 million about 6 months ago for the first instalment on Virginia-class submarines. That's beyond everything else in terms of the trade deficit that we have. We're not worried about the trade deficit. What we're worried about is free trade. And the Prime Minister's right with respect of free trade means zero tariffs. But the reality is that for President Trump to continue to impose this despite our relationship, and this is where it comes back to this point of the Prime Minister understanding the importance and urgency of a direct face-to-face meeting with the President on not just AUKUS but on trade, has gone missing, and he's relying on third parties to secure up a further date. I think it's important the Prime Minister understands that he has a significant role to play here in that direct relationship, in putting that compelling case to President Trump. We will do our heavy lifting, and with respect to defence, we will rely on the United States to provide us with the hardware. We're an island nation, not just with submarines, but F-35s, missiles, to make sure we send a very strong message that Australia is well equipped, not only ourselves, but with the strategic partnerships. And that's why I think, unfortunately, the Prime Minister's been missing on this and hasn't understood the importance of the relationship and understood the cues in which the Trump administration has sent to the world and has sent to Australia with respect to trade and with respect to defence.
If I could look forward just to the Productivity Summit as well. I know you went to the Jobs Summit when Peter Dutton did at the time in the last term of government. Ted O'Brien, I think, is going to this as well. But I want to ask you about the GST. I mean, this is the first time in a long time that any Treasurer has shown an appetite for some serious tax reform. And I think this is probably a golden opportunity to do it. John Howard, I mean, the GST is Howard policy. It is coalition policy. Would you embrace an increase in the GST if you saw income taxes come down, or easing on some of those inefficient taxes that have been talked about for decades?
Yeah, look, I've been on the record that we are, as Nationals, very eager to be constructive, as I was with the Jobs and Skills Summit, with any proposal brought forward in terms of tax reform. We're very open to that, but it should be in totality and not just in terms of income tax, but those state taxes that flow in terms of stamp duty, very inefficient, even payroll tax, which is a tax on employment that states impose. So I think it is time for a mature conversation. I think it's the right call for Ted O'Brien to go to this summit, to be constructive. I've always wanted to be constructive. I think we have a responsibility as elected officials to put our point of view, and I think it's important we do that no matter who's in government, whether they listen or not. But I think we'll have an open mind, but you need to look at it in the totality. And I think Australians are starting to warm to it as well, more broadly, and that should give the political courage to move forward and to look at this in totality of state and federal taxes that are holding this country back. But you also need to look at the spending and your spending priorities. So it's not just about tax, it's also about spending. And that's also where I think there's been a lack of understanding and appreciation by the Albanese government that is probably forcing them politically into this, because they are spending more than they are bringing in, and they need to modernise a tax system because it can't keep pace with their spending.
Well, some bipartisanship will certainly be encouraging, not just for this government, but for the Australian people as well. David, good to see you there. Where are you? You're in Queensland. I'm in Washington, DC. We'll catch up with you soon.